Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Today we're going to look at a reel that Tom has sent in. This is a Silstar CX35. These reels were largely available in the European market. They were marketed in the US, and Silstar did have a headquarters in Columbia, South Carolina. They shared the facility, or were partners, or had a second brand called Pinnacle. They've kind of gone out of business in 2009. This is a rear drag fishing reel, a 35 size with a graphite case, sent in by Tom. The reel works fine, however, the spool spins backwards. So Tom has asked me if I can take a look and find out what's going on there. Thought that would be a good subject of the video. Hopefully we can repair this. If we can't repair it, at least we may be able to determine what the cause of it is. Well, the first thing you want to do in the diagnosis is to remove the spool and see if it's the spool that's spinning backwards or if it's the shaft. Well, the next thing you want to do is subscribe to my channel if you haven't already subscribed. I'm always amazed to find that of all of the viewers that we have, only about 25% of the viewers have subscribed to the channel, yet they're repeat viewers. So why not subscribe? It doesn't cost you anything. It's great for you and for the channel to see what's coming up in terms of the previews. It's also nice to have that on your list in case, well, you're looking for something to watch. So please subscribe if you haven't, and if you are subscribed, make sure you do use that notification button. All right, is it the spool or is it the shaft? Well, it's the shaft that's turning. Well, that's very unusual because the bottom of the shaft should lock into a gear in the drag stack. Well, we're going to have to remove that to find out what the next steps are. To do that, we're going to have to take the handle off. The handle, I always inspect the back side of this case to make sure that there's not a screw in there and that it truly is a handle that screws into the main gear. A lot of times I've found that folks have reels that, well, they've broken because they assumed that this was a screw-in handle, which you remove by turning in the opposite the reel direction that the reel collects the line, and well, they rip them off when they're throughs. A couple of things going on here. This rotor is loose. It shouldn't have that movement in it. But more importantly, why is that shaft not tying down? Well, let's take the case off and see what more we can learn about this reel. Normally there's a clip that holds it in, but again, that pivots in the gear below, the drag stack below. So there's a little I guess we'll call it a drag stack collar. I'm not quite sure exactly what the name of it is, but it belongs in there as a lockdown, and well, we're not sure what it is. So let's take a look inside, see what we can learn from that. Well, it's still curious because, well, everything inside so far looks the way it should look. Let's see if we can pull the main gear out. We can't. We have to remove the clip here. And one of the problems is with this reel and the repair of this reel is that if a part is going to be needed, it's going to be very difficult to get that part, if not impossible. And I believe I'll err on the side of saying it will be impossible to find that. The reason for that is the reel is, well, it's now 15 years old. If it was made at the end of the Silstar company, probably more like 20 years old or 25 years old. It was made in Korea, and it wasn't an expensive reel. So when you get these reels that are not expensive reels, well, one of the things that comes along with it not being expensive is that you don't get part support for it. We've removed the tie-down clip. We should be able to remove our axle shaft, and the axle shaft is correct. It has those two square sides, and that should lock into the gear here. We'll take the main gear out for fun. Let's remove the lower drag stack. Now, why in the world is this thing not locking down? To remove the lower drag stack, you remove the screw. And you can turn that down. You have your spring. And now this should push through. Now we can remove the crosswind block here, get that out of the way. Crosswind block, crosswind gear. I should be able to push that down and away. We can see right here the shoulders are broken. So this should have a square side to it that holds. And we can see there is no square side inside of that. So that's unfortunate. And unfortunately for Tom, that's the end of the life of this particular reel. Okay, so let's sum it up. Why did this reel fail? It failed because of a mechanical issue with it. The mechanical issue is in the drag stack pinion gear, or whatever the name of it should be. This is made out of what I would call a various degree of pot metal. It should have squared shoulders on it that lock the shaft in, and instead it's been rounded out. As you can see, we'll put that axle shaft back in and it just turns. There's no lock associated with this. Well, that's a shame, but that happens over time. Why does it happen? That's a good question. I don't know if this thing was involved in some kind of a fight with a fish that just ripped it. It could turn it, if you had this locked down fully with a drag, right, it could pull it and turn it, and if that was locked down to hold it in, that could shatter the metal. It's hard to say. What I can say is that the reel is it's beyond being helped because we do not have these replacement parts. Okay, well, we've learned something today, and I hope you've learned and enjoyed the session that we did. We learned out why does the reel fail. We did a little bit of a look inside in terms of the components of a rear drag fishing reel, how it should have operated and why it failed. So a lot of times when you take on a project like this, that's the value of the project itself. It's in the learning, it's in the understanding of what makes the reel work, and well, in this case, why the reel stopped working properly. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank everybody who's joined the channel and watches it and comments on it, leaves the encouragement or the questions or the comments. I do appreciate all of them, and as mentioned, it does help the channel when we go to get ranked in the YouTube algorithms and the like. Yep, I do pay attention to those. It's kind of helps me to determine what our viewers want to see and to build those programs around that. Well, in this case, we've learned that this is not a good reel, and it's beyond repair. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Before I leave, I want to thank our first responders, our police, fire, safety, rescue, everybody involved in keeping us out of harm's way. I do appreciate everything that you do, your career choice, and well, your day-to-day activities to just do the best that you can do so that we can be our best. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, wishing everybody a great day.